everybody, it is time to talk more university. And it's that time of year, exams are coming, revision's getting started, and I thought I'd give you a few little tips about how to get into it. And now obviously I said university, but these tips can work for anything. If you're at high school studying for an exam, these tips can work. If you're studying for a theory test, these tips can work. If you're trying to revise things for a job interview, these tips can also work. So let's get into it. I feel like this is a very versatile video. So as always, I've got 5 little tips on my phone here just to read to you. My first of which is find your learning style. And I honestly think when you're starting to revise, this is one of the most important things that you can do to help your learning, because basically this is going to determine how you study. And if you know how you best learn, you can maximise that and get the most out of your time revising. There is no point listening to lectures on repeat if you're not the type of person that learns by listening to things. You might know how you best learn just by the way that you feel when you're revising or by the way that you feel when you're doing certain things. But if you are unsure and you want a bit more of a kind of black and white explanation, there are plenty of online tests that will tell you what kind of learner you are. And then I feel like the next best thing to do after you've found out how you best learn is find out where you best learn. Now I know for some people they like to be in their room in their own space, and others like to be in a library. But for me personally, I enjoy mixing it up a little bit. I feel like it makes studying less monotonous, and you can also decide what kind of mood you're in and tailor where you work and how you work to how you're feeling. One place that I love studying is in Starbucks. Now we have a Starbucks on the university campus, so they are so used to everybody just coming in, buying a coffee and sitting for hours just doing work. And I honestly think that if you go into any cafe anywhere, as long as you buy something and give them a little bit of business, they won't mind that you're sitting in the corner with your laptop out. I suppose the thing that makes Starbucks really enjoyable for me is having other people around. I don't really like learning when it's completely silent because it kind of makes my mind go a little bit crazy. So I like having things happening around me, having music on in the background, hearing people chatter here and there, and of course you're going to get a coffee into the bargain as well, so that's going to help your studying. And a more obvious place I like to study is the university library. Now, I never really studied in the library in first semester last year, but in second semester I really got into the zone of just getting there, focusing on to what I was doing. It's not somewhere that I want to go every day when I'm studying, but occasionally I just have a little thing that clicks in my brain that tells me that it's a library day. And when that happens, I will get myself, go to the primary education room on most occasions because that's my favourite place in the library, and I'll just sit and work my way through my work. So find where you work best. Find where you enjoy studying, and even if you want to, mix up a bit, because that's what I do. And now my last 3 tips are more practical, how to actually get started with studying. And my first practical tip is one that I couldn't do without, and that is using colour. And again, this one won't work for everybody. I am a visual learner. I learn through writing things down, colouring bits in, highlighting different points, and because of that I love using coloured pens to write my notes out. Obviously I don't do the full page in colour because then it just has the opposite effect and everything's back to the one colour again. So I will write my notes out in normal pen, and the little keywords or the bits that I would highlight I would just write in colour. That way it's number 1, fun to write out and fun to make your notes, and secondly, when it gets to the point of looking over things quickly before the exam, your brain is drawn to the little colourful sections, so it'll help the keywords stick in your head. And my second note making tip is all about summarising, and this is how I like to learn. When it gets to the time of revising, I will get up all of my university lectures, I will get out all of my notes from tutorials, I will look at the different readings that I've done, I will compile them all together and go through topic by topic and pick out the key points from each bit and summarise it into one page. And moving on to my last point, what do you do with all of those summarised little bits that you've picked up? I like to put them into mind maps. Now mind maps are something that I could never get the hang of in school. Everybody would always recommend using mind maps, and to me it just didn't make sense. But for some reason when I came to uni I must have just found a different way of doing it that it really worked for me. So basically all I do is take my summarised points from before and I take one sheet per topic and put everything on there that I need to know. It's also a really good process to take things from a million lecture slides and all your readings and put them onto one page, because it makes it seem so much more manageable. It also makes it seem in your brain like you've done a lot of work to summarise all that into the most important parts. And as I said before, when you're making these mind maps, it's fun to do at the time. You're learning as you do it, you're reading over and recapping old topics that you've done. But then when it comes to the exam, you can quickly look through all your different mind maps, quickly flick through them all, and hopefully it'll all get stuck up here somewhere. So those are my top 5 tips for revising. As you'll have seen throughout this video, there was little clips inserted here and there. Those were actually my notes from last year, because I've not actually what is that sun doing? That's so bright, oh my god. As I was saying, those are my notes from last year. I have not actually started making my revision notes for this year yet, but that is the job for next week. So hopefully by the time that you guys are watching this video, I'll have started my revision, I'll feel on top of it and get ready for exams. So I hope that you found this video useful and interesting, and I'm going to go now before this sun burns this side of my face off. Why is it so bright? Oh my goodness. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye! Mwah.